While Samsung is already in its 5th generation of the Fold lineup, TECNO on the other hand just released their first ever foldable smartphone, which is the TECNO Phantom V Fold. In this video, we will be putting the before mentioned devices head to head to see which of these devices gets the crown here. The Samsung Galaxy Fold 5, which has been in the foldable scene for years now, or the TECNO Phantom V Fold, which is the first ever foldable from the company. Let us all find out in this comparison video. Checking out both of these devices, we can see that both the Samsung Galaxy Fold 5 and the TECNO Phantom V Fold are made with high quality materials. We have a glossy aluminum material frame on the Fold 5 paired with a matte textured finish back panel, while we do get a matte textured aluminum frame on the Phantom V Fold, along with a jagged pattern on the hinge as well as a leather texture at the back. Now both of these devices look stunning and premium, no doubts there. Now when it comes to the overall form factor, the TECNO Phantom V Fold noticeably has a bigger body, giving us a wider cover display that measures at 6.42 inch. Whereas on the Fold 5, we still do get the same 6.2 inch cover display as the previous Galaxy Fold. Camera placement on the other hand, we kinda dig the minimalist camera approach on the Galaxy Fold 5 as compared to the circular frame that we have on the Phantom V Fold. But will this huge camera module right here that we have on the Phantom makes up for a better resolution? We'll find out later. Onto the cover display of both of these devices, we have a 6.2 inch dynamic AMOLED panel with a resolution 2316 by 904 and supports 120Hz refresh rate on the Galaxy Fold 5, while we do get a 6.42 inch LTPO AMOLED panel that also supports 120Hz refresh rate, and it has a resolution of 2550 by 1080 on the Phantom V Fold. Now when it comes to the cover display, we think that the Phantom V Fold won in this segment, as the display doesn't feel as cramped as we have on the Galaxy Fold 5, which is a plus. Now unfolding these two devices, we are greeted with a 7.6 inch foldable dynamic display on the Fold 5 that has a resolution of 2176 by 1812, capable of producing 373 ppi. It also comes with 120Hz refresh rate support. The TECNO V Fold, on the other hand, packs a 7.85 inch LTPO AMOLED display that has a resolution of 2296 by 2000, which translates to 388 ppi and 120Hz refresh rate. Both of these devices' displays are vibrant, although we notice that the display on the Phantom V Fold leans towards the warmer side, while the Fold 5's display are more onto the magenta side of the spectrum. But nevertheless, these displays are sharp and is very immersive for when playing games as well as watching content online. The inner front-facing cameras on the Fold 5 is hidden underneath the display, while we still have that hole punch cutout on the Phantom V Fold, which we think is the best way to go for better image quality. Both the cover display and the foldable display on these devices are legible when used outdoors. Both has a noticeable crease in the middle of the display when unfolded. The bump on the TECNO Phantom V Fold's display isn't as prominent as we have on the Fold 5, but the area of the display that gets folded on the Phantom V Fold is a bit wider as compared to what we have on the Fold 5. Now when it comes to these devices' sound quality, both the Phantom V Fold and the Fold 5 speakers are loud, but we think that the one that we have on the Fold 5 is a little bit better as it has more oomph to it. For performance, powering the Galaxy Fold 5 is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor that features an Adreno 740 GPU and up to 1TB of UFS 4.0 internal storage. The TECNO Phantom V Fold, on the other hand, rocks a MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus that has a Mali G710 MC10 GPU, a standard 12GB of RAM, and up to 512GB of UFS 3.1 storage. Both of these devices packs a punch, especially when it comes to gaming. We are getting good frame rates on both of these devices even at max graphics settings available. We haven't experienced any lags or notable frame drops while playing Mobile Legends, Call of Duty Mobile, as well as Genshin Impact. The only thing that we might complain about is the slight overheating on both of these devices. Despite having different processors, On board, both the Fold 5 and the Phantom V Fold can give you a power that you need for performing heavy multitasking as well as for when gaming. If you are interested in numbers, here are the benchmark scores that we got. These results might be slightly different from each other, but in real-world testing, the difference between these two smartphones when it comes to performance are a bit undistinguishable. Now when it comes to its cameras, we have a triple rear camera setup on the Samsung Galaxy Fold 5 that consists of a 15-megapixel main camera with an aperture of 1.8, a 10-megapixel telephoto lens with an aperture of 2.4, and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera with an aperture of 2.2. For selfies, we have a small 4-megapixel under-display camera and a 10-megapixel cover display for selfie camera. The TECNO Phantom V Fold, on the other hand, boasts a 15-megapixel wide lens with an aperture of 1.9, another 15-megapixel telephoto lens with an aperture of 2.0, and a 13-megapixel ultra-wide lens with an aperture of 2.2. For selfies, we have a 16-megapixel camera on the cover display and a 32-megapixel inner display camera. In terms of the quality, both of these devices produces good quality images. It will really boils down to your preference. Image taken on the TECNO V Fold tends to retain the environment's white balance instead of correcting it. That being said, if the environment is warm like this photo that we took from the Samgyeopsal restaurant nearby, the image captured is warm as compared to the image that we have on the Fold 5, in which tends to slightly correct the white balance of the environment. Both of these devices produces sharp images thanks to both of these devices' post-processing software. HDR is also observed on both foldables. Now when it comes to selfies, both of these devices has a good skin reproduction, accurate color, and ample contrast. In this segment, we dig the treatment on the Phantom V Fold as it really has a punch hole camera as compared to the other display camera that we have on the Fold 5, which tends to look blurred and smudgy most of the time, making it somewhat a useless piece of camera on the Fold 5. Now when it comes to software, running on the Samsung Galaxy Fold 5 is Android 13 skinned with One UI 5.1.1. If you own a Samsung device before, you will feel at home with Samsung's One UI. If you are new to this OS, we are happy to report that One UI is one of the best Android skin out there as it is clean, pretty intuitive, and almost close to stock Android. The TECNO Phantom V Fold, on the other hand, also runs on Android 13. It has iOS 13 Fold on board, which is a specialized OS for foldables. The UI still does look like the ones we have on the regular TECNO smartphones, so if you are coming from those type of devices, you will feel at home too. The UI is pretty straightforward and is also intuitive to use. But if you're going to pick which UI is the best, I'd definitely go for One UI as it does feel more refined and much more simpler to use. Now when it comes to battery, running on the Samsung Galaxy Fold 5 is a 4,400 mAh capacity with support for 25-watt wired fast charging, 15-watt wireless charging, and 4.5-watt reversed wireless charging. While we have a slightly bigger 5,000 mAh battery on the Phantom V Fold and has support for 42-watt fast charging. In our case, we are getting almost the same screen time on both of these devices. One of the advantages that we see on the Phantom V Fold is the fact that it is faster to fill up from 0 to 40% in just 15 minutes, as compared to 0 to 50% rate on the Fold 5 at 30 minutes. If you are in a hunt for a good foldable smartphone, aside from this staple Fold 5, the TECNO Phantom V Fold also deserves to be in your radar. Both of these devices are good when it comes to productivity, gaming, and entertainment as they both pack powerful processor. Sure, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 might be a tad bit better as compared to the MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus that we have on the Phantom V Fold, but in real-world testing, we haven't had any issues on the Phantom V Fold when it comes to performance. One of the things that we like about the Fold 5 is the OS and its S Pen support. While we dig the bigger cover display that we have on the Phantom V Fold, as our fingers sits normally when typing as compared to a little cramped screen that we have on the Fold 5. Now you might ask, how does the price of the Fold 5 compare to the price of the Phantom V Fold? For starters, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 starts at 98,990 pesos for the 12 gigs of RAM plus 256 gigs of internal storage variant, and 105,990 pesos for the 512 gigs version, and 112,990 pesos for the 1 terabyte option. The TECNO Phantom V Fold, on the other hand, is priced at 59,999 pesos for the 12 gigs of RAM plus 512 gigs of internal storage. And yes, that's almost half of the price of the base model Fold 5. And there you have it, guys. What do you guys think about these two devices in the market? Which of these two devices are your pick? Do let us know in the comment section below, and if you find this video helpful, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to our channel for more content, hit that bell icon so you won't miss any future uploads, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and visit uvtech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Narelle. I'll catch you guys in the next video.